So today, working on my son's scooter. Sorry about that. Working on a scooter. It's a Yamaha Beluga, and it has 581 kilometers. Original. We got it all taken apart. We're giving it a good cleaning. A little 80cc two-stroke. Get the carburetor off of it. Get it oiled up. Pretty basic little unit. Goes like stink when it's running. Here's the front view of it. Once we get it outside there, we'll be able to see a little better. It's a Yamaha Beluga. I put this little windshield I made up for it. Normally they had a windshield that goes way up and over to here. So I took one off my Ski-Doo and cut her down and shoved her on there. Makes it look a little sportier. It's got the mirror, signal lights. It is street legal. Got the little wrap for a full package here. So, it's no big. The wife can drive it. Both kids can drive it. So yeah. Just getting ready to clean up the remaining parts. So yeah, there's the side covers for it. And yeah, lots of bolts of course. And all the pieces that we have off to clean it up. There's a little carburetor. It's got an electric choke, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, I'll get back to you in a minute. And here's the reed valve for it, for the little Yamaha Beluga. It's in pretty good shape still. We just giving it a little bit of a cleaning. It's got some green death. The bike sat for, well, it was bought in 85. It was used the summer of 85 and the summer of 86. And then the bike sat, and we picked it up a couple weeks back. What you want to look for there is that all this is all nice and clean, of course, nothing jamming it open. You want them to open and close. As you can see, that one's open just a hair. Might make for a little bit of a rough riding, but really super easy on gas. But yeah, like I say, it was sitting forever, so it had a bunch of green death gas when it sits stagnant, not moving. It turns old and actually turns into a varnish. And it is impossible to get out. So I'm going to be taking apart the fuel pump, slash there's a little filter in there and whatnot. I'm going to take it apart, clean it. It is leaking on these seals here. They're dried out. I would imagine it's dried out, so I'm going to take it apart and have a look, and yeah, we'll put another bunch of parts on it. Well, I was looking again at this. I don't know if you can see it or not, but right in here we have a little hole. Almost looks like it's a hole in the plastic for breathing and air maybe or something. I'm not 100% sure, but we're going to tear into it and see what it's all about. I'll show you that in a minute. So I'm just pulling the last screw out on this. And then you have your spring, diaphragm, and it pulses like so, back and forth. And the pulsing, you have a pulse from the, like a vacuum almost from the engine, which hooks onto here, and it pulses this, which pumps your fuel, which comes from your tank down into here, down through here into your carburetor, and then this bottom line here is your air from the engine that goes in and out, in and out, in and out really quick, which pumps the fuel through. If we get a little farther into it, I'll show you that. Excuse me. So yeah, here we are. That's the inside. You can see all the corrosion and whatnot of that varnish and whatnot that turns bad on when gas sits for a long time. And then it builds up this ridge all around here, which in turn built up on here, which when the fuel pumps into here, it's leaking out. So what we're going to do is clean all this up and seal it and put it back together and see if we can make it stop leaking. So I took my air line, I blew this all out, no problem. And I'm blowing all this out. And I just figured I'd throw the air line in here and blow this back. Well, I was looking straight at it as I put the air in there and it comes straight up my eye. Yeah, needless to say, I got an eyeball full of crap. Talk to you soon. So I pulled this little sediment bowl off here on the fuel pump, and look at that. Never seen the likes of that in my life. That is just caked with grunge and crap. Amazing it even worked. We weren't getting that in the carburetor. Unreal. I'm gonna go blow it out. Back in a sec. So I'm not a big fan of RV silicone. I would have rather get a new gasket set for this. But it's not going to be here for like 2 weeks, and yeah, the kids want to drive it yesterday. So I just put a little RV silicone around the main edges, and I'm just taking a Q-tip and cleaning where the plunger sits, just so it doesn't stick. Just like that, just a little cleaning. Nothing major, and then it'll seal up, won't leak gas, and good to go. On here I'm going to do the same. I just take a little bit of RV silicone there. I don't know if you can see that little spot of stuff I have there. That's what it is. And I just take a little bit on my finger and I just go right on the very edge. Just like that. Just a little pinch. Just enough to say it'll help. Just like that, all the way around. You get the idea. So there, we got it back together. Now what I like to do is just grab a rag and just wipe the excess off. You don't have to. Just, it's for appearance, eh? Cleaner, looks better. Less stuff to deal with if I ever have to take it apart again and clean it up or whatever. You don't have all that extra crap to contend with. So yeah, gonna get into the carburetor here next. We'll show you that in a minute. So I took the bowl off the carburetor, and you can see it's crap in there, sediment. So you want to make sure you get all that out. Get it up real good and get rid of it. You don't want it. Clean everything. Clean out your jets. Check your float height. And yeah. Well, there we are. We got the fuel pump back together. We're getting ready to put the reed valves back in. the carburetor's clean, put back together. I don't like that little boot here. I just went in and I made some phone calls to see if I can get a new one, so I have one on the way, but you can see it's all weather cracked really bad, but when you look inside, it's not all the way through. So it'll be good for the weekend, I guess, and as long as the boys take her easy, then when the new one comes, it'll be good to go. And as you can see over there, I put the camera off the tripod here. And as you can see, oh, there we go. Cleaned out the air box. The people on this, yeah, it was dirty. It was very dirty for the amount of kilometers on it. And, yeah, so I sprayed it all down with some lubricant and just sprayed everything white in it and trying to get all the dirt and grime out of it and trying to clean it up so it looks a little better. But, man, it's caked on there thick. So, yeah, that's the beast. We'll give you an update once we're closer to putting some more parts back together. Well, we're getting closer. Get all those covers back on the engine here. Pain in the butt. There's no room to move. Little rubber here. Kind of cheaply made. Got the reed valve goes right down in there. I don't know if you can see, but it sits underneath the intake boot. Yeah, right down in there. And then the carb goes on here. All your little lines and whatnot. And your of course your carb will sit in there like so. And then you have your little fuel pump, which sits over here, like so. All your wiring, flashers, all rubber dried out obviously here. Rubber here, dried out. A new battery in it. Got it wired in for now. Just starting to clean it up and replace things as we go. It's a nice little bike, it runs good. We had a lot of fun on it for the week or so we had it going. And then I decided to tear into it and clean it up. Modify a couple things and see if we can't make it run better. So yeah, we'll give you a little update shortly. Well, here we are. Got it all back together. Kind of got carried away when I was getting it going, but we all know how to tune a carburetor anyway. Just put the carb on, open it up into, yeah, 1.5 turns, and then worked it back in, setting the idle, and went for a run. Any questions? Just ask Tracy. She'll get you the answer. Thanks.